Barbie joined the $1 billion club, making it the 53rd movie to join that exclusive club. So today we're ranking all 53 $1 billion movies and placing them on their proper tiers. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Barbie, $1 billion movie. That was not on my bingo card. I don't know why it wasn't, but it was not for 2023. But in Barbie, will probably end up being the highest grossing movie of the year, which is so freaking awesome. But it's the 53rd movie to join the $1 billion club, so we're going to rank them all. We're going to place them on the tiers, but before we do, let me know your ranking of all 53 $1 billion movies down below. At least let me know your favorites and least favorites, all that down below. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. And let's get into these tiers. Starting out with our tiers, we have fantastic, we have great, we have good, we have okay, we have meh, and we have bad. And here we go. First and foremost, we have the Disney live action Aladdin, which I'm going to put in the good tier because I absolutely love the animated Aladdin so much. So if I had to go back and watch one, I would rewatch the animated Aladdin over the live action Aladdin. Will Smith, I mean, he does a great job as a genie. Keep your name out of his mouth, right? Something like that. Then we have Alice in Wonderland, the Disney live action remake, which a lot of people are not a big fan of, but for me, this is a great movie. This is the first Blu-ray I ever owned, and this is one of those first movies I remember watching in theaters back in 2010 with all my family. We all went to go see it. We all came out loving it. I'm a big fan of this one, and I'm a lot bigger fan than most people of Alice in Wonderland live action remake. Then we have Aquaman. I haven't gone back to rewatch Aquaman since theaters, so for that reason, I'm going to put it in the okay tier. Amber Heard's in there. Awesome. But Jason Momoa, he's absolutely great as Arthur Curry. I'm excited to see the sequel to Aquaman whenever we get it, but James Wan's one of my favorite directors, and he does a pretty good job with this one. It's long, but it does a good job of capturing like Aquaman's origin story, and it did $1 billion freaking dollars. It's absolutely insane. Then we have Avatar: The Way of Water. Came out last year, joined the $2 billion club. What the heck? Fantastic. I am a diehard Avatar fan, and we also have the other Avatar. Fantastic as well. I'm a diehard Avatar fan. My wife loves these movies just as much as I do. These are some of my favorite movies of all time. James Cameron's one of my favorite directors of all time. And these two movies, I cannot wait for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. I hope we get 10 of them. I really freaking do because I love these characters. I love this world, and the visuals are absolutely stunning. Now we have Avengers Age of Ultron. Gonna go in that great tier. This one is one of the more slept on MCU movies. I think it's absolutely fantastic, from just like exploring how these characters are really kind of dealing with defeat to adding new characters as Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch in there. It all works very well, and I mean, you really start to see all these characters butt heads. It kind of leads nicely into Civil War as they really start butting heads. You gotta love Age of Ultron. Then we have Avengers Endgame. Fantastic tier. Avengers Endgame is everything and more you want, and like the culmination of it, and how obviously I still love the MCU, but how everything kind of went after Endgame for the MCU. You look back and you're like, it should have ended with Avengers Endgame. Obviously, there's still billions of dollars to make with Marvel, but how Avengers Endgame ended, I mean, it was just a perfect culmination of everything. Obviously, I'm glad we got more, but still, I feel like it was just a perfect ending. Then we have Avengers Infinity War, arguably my favorite movie of all time, going in the fantastic tier as well. This is the culmination of everything we knew at this point in time. In 2018, I remember that I waited in line for 2 hours to go and check this movie out. It was everything and more, from getting this villain on screen. Thanos was something we only heard about. We knew he was going to be a big bad. We knew characters were going to die. And I mean, it just ended off on the best cliffhanger ever, and the villain won. That's unheard of. It's a 2.5-hour action-packed movie. There's like 2 minutes in this movie that are like, you can go to the bathroom for. Other than that, you got to sit your butt down and watch its perfectness. Then, the reason we're doing this tier list, Barbie. I'm going to put Barbie in the great tier. I had a lot of fun with this one. My wife absolutely loved it. And when my wife loves a movie so much, automatically it makes me love it all that much more. So Barbie's got to be in the great tier. It's a ton of fun. It's a great summer vibe, and I'm so glad it's doing so well at the box office. I mean, shout out Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig for pushing to make this movie, because it's absolutely fantastic. It's great. It's great. It's great. I like it a lot. I'm just Ken. And I'm Knuff. Then we have the Beauty and the Beast live action remake. I actually just watched this one the other day again with my wife, and I'm gonna put it in the great tier. I love the live action remakes, and this one happens to be one of the best. I mean, the musical numbers from Be Our Guest to Gaston, I mean, everything about those work. Luke Evans is a great version of Gaston. Josh Gad is a great version of Le Fou, and Emma Watson is a fine enough version of Belle. When I rewatch it this time, I mean, just went down a little bit for me. But other than that, it's still a good, fun movie. Moving on, now we have another Marvel movie. We have so many Marvel movies on this list, but now we have Black Panther, which I'm going to put in the good tier. Black Panther is one of those movies that is, yes, a little bit slower, but is so epic and grand, getting to explore Wakanda and getting to really explore who T'Challa is and the Black Panther and everything about Wakanda. And Killmonger is a fine enough villain, but overall, I just like this story. I like these vibes. I love how they incorporate all the culture in there, and nonetheless, Black Panther is a fun movie to check out. Then, Captain America Civil War, going in that fantastic tier. One of my favorite MCU movies, superhero movies, probably top 25 movies of all time. The marketing for this movie is absolutely insane, but when you're watching this movie, you just don't know whose side to be on. The safest hands are still our own. You want to be on Cap's side. You want to be on Tony's side. It does a great job at really kind of separating them and making you as a viewer choose. That's why I love it so much. Then we have Captain Marvel, which I'm going to put in the okay tier. My wife loves this one. One I wasn't the biggest fan of. I enjoyed it in theaters, but every time I rewatch, it went down. But I'm excited for the Marvels. Maybe it'll be the 54th movie to join the $1 billion club. Then we have Despicable Me 3, which I'm also going to put in the okay tier. I like the first two Despicable Me movies, but the third one just Gru has a brother. It's kind of like we're fishing for ideas at this point. Then Finding Dory, I'm going to put in the good tier. Yes, is it a cash grab? 1000% it's a cash grab, but this was one of the first movies. I think the first movie I actually saw with my wife when we were just dating. We were in high school. It's pretty freaking crazy to think about that, but Finding Dory, adding these characters of Hank and Bailey, ooh, and just getting to explore Dory as like who is a side character. You get to explore her in like her own light, find out who she is, where she came from. It's fun to do. It is fun to do. Then we have Frozen 2, which I'm sorry, I'm going to put in the fantastic tier, and the first Frozen also in the fantastic tier. That tier is going to just keep getting bigger, ain't it? My wife loves Frozen. It's one of her favorite movies of all time. You can see that the theme of this video. My wife loves a lot of movies, so that makes me love them that much more. But Frozen and Frozen 2, these characters, the songs, the animation, everything about it, it's just awesome. And I love to watch these movies, and I've seen them both now so many times, and I cannot wait to keep watching them. I can't wait to show them to my kids one day. Then we have Furious 7. It's been a long day without you, my friend. I'll go in the good tier. This is a good movie with a really, really emotional ending. I love James Wan. I don't think he was maybe the best person to direct this movie because I like his solo movies that he likes to make, but nonetheless, he does a really good job with this one. Jason Statham is a great villain, and the way they end the movie for Paul Walker, I mean, it hits you right in the feels. I could watch it every time, and it will still choke me up to this day. Then we have Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Arguably one of my favorite Harry Potter movies, if not my favorite. It has to go in the fantastic tier. I'm a diehard Harry Potter fan. Besides MCU, it's like my favorite franchise. Like, I cannot wait to go back and rewatch these ones, and I love the world, I love the characters, and Voldemort is a great villain. Come on, Tom, let's finish this the way we started. Together, and you're like, wow! It's just everything that like led to this moment from like 19 years of making these movies, or 14 years, however long. All of that led to this movie, this moment. I wish I got to see it in theaters, but I didn't do it. I'm still kicking myself to this day. I love it. Harry Potter is dead. I'm gonna get out of it. Moving on to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone, whatever you want to call it. The first movie to start off this fantastic franchise. Great tier. Just exploring these characters in the world, the wizarding world that is Hogwarts, that is Harry Potter. I mean, it sets up everything so beautifully. You're a wizard, Harry. I'm not a wizard. I can't be. Oh, you're doing magic. Let's see then. Oh, just great getting to know all these characters and explore it. Stakes are a little bit lower, but growing up with these kids it was awesome. It was my childhood, and now I'm an adult. I still love watching these movies. And we have Iron Man 3. Which is crazy that this made $1 billion, but it's going in that good tier. I remember watching a trailer for this movie probably an hour before I went to go see it. Made me want to go see it. I was sold. It was an awesome trailer, and Tony Stark's an awesome character. So Iron Army, that's a Tony Stark right there. So good movie. Definitely has some problems. Obviously, the Mandarin, he's not real, and you also have like Pepper getting powers. Tony Stark taking the heart reactor out. Shane Black, what are you doing? What are you doing? Moving on to the first ever and only ever R-rated movie to gross $1 billion. Oppenheimer's on its heels, but the only R-rated movie ever to make $1 billion is Joker. So for that, it's got to go in that great tier. I've only seen this movie once, and I watched it in theaters. I own it on Blu-ray, and it's one of those movies I probably will never go back to rewatch because of how dark it is and how it made me feel when I got out of the theater. My wife and I saw this when we were still dating back in, 2019, and it just one of those movies that made you feel gross, made you feel icky. You walked out of the theater, you're like, what did I just watch? and it does a really good job. And Todd Phillips had just banked on this movie. He did, and it worked out in his favor, and overall made it a really great movie. Then we have Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's one of the main reasons I love movies today. I watched this all the time as a kid, and I even go back to watch it now. It's my favorite Spielberg movie of all time. So for that, it's got to go in fantastic. This is a top 10 favorite movie of all time for me. That's how much I love it. Just the way how these dinosaurs look so real, even when you go back to watch it now. And when the kids are in the car and you see the water just shaking, that is just filmmaking at its finest. It's almost like a horror movie, right? It is how terrifying it was. I was infatuated with dinosaurs as a kid, and it's fantastic. I freaking love it. Then we have Jurassic World Dominion, one of my least favorite movies ever. It had literally the Avengers of the Jurassic World all together on the screen. Anyone who's been in this franchise is on the screen. And you made it about Lotus. It's bad. It's so bad, it's not even good. It made me so freaking angry. I fell asleep. I went for a walk during the movie because I was falling asleep. I was so upset. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Never thought I'd say that this movie is better than another one, but it's better than Dominion. These two just completely missed their mark by a long shot. What did miss their mark was Jurassic World, which I'm going to put in the good tier. This is what a reboot is supposed to be. They're now not opening Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World. And it's like a theme park. You get to come experience with these dinosaurs. We're kind of doing tests. We're trying to make dinosaurs. And obviously, it's not going to go very good. But that's what makes this movie so cool. Chris Pratt is a badass, awesome character as Owen. He's training velociraptors. It's literally like you're at Six Flags, but there's dinosaurs. I mean, works really well. I love this one the most. One of my favorite, probably my second favorite Jurassic movie. Then we have Minions. I'm just going to put Minions in bad. Move on. Illumination! Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Man's Chest. I remember vividly crying as a kid watching Jack Sparrow go in to the Kraken's mouth saying, I hope I'm tasty. And then the end, when when Barbossa shows up at the end, it's so freaking epic. Are you joking me, bro? It's fantastic. This is one of my probably my favorite Pirates movie, and it's probably a top 20 favorite movie of all time for me. It's one of my favorite sequels of all time. Everything about this movie just works. It screams fantastic, and I love it so much. Then I think this is Pirates of the Caribbean on Strange Tides, which I'm going to put in, I'll put it in meh, because I still love these characters, but nonetheless, it just really, really missed the mark. Then we have Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which I'm going to put in the good tier. I haven't gone back to rewatch this one since years. I remember heavily enjoying it in theater, seeing Darth Vader at the end was absolutely awesome, but I need to go back and check this one out. I remember enjoying it quite a bit. I need to watch Andor as well, because everyone says Andor and Rogue One are just fantastic, so I need to go back and check them out. Then we have Skyfall. Ba-da-da. 007, Skyfall, my second favorite Bond movie of all time, which I'm going to put in the great tier. If it was Casino Royale, it would be in the fantastic tier, but Skyfall nonetheless. Great song by Adele. Overall, great freaking intense movie. When I set the traps towards the end, it's like the agency's kind of turning their backs on him. Daniel Craig is just, he's a great James Bond. We're going to miss him. Spider-Man Far From Home, I'm going to put in okay. This is like my least favorite Spider-Man movie. It's just one that I don't go back and rewatch, and after I got off from seeing it, I just didn't enjoy it, like, really, at all. Like, it's just okay. Then we have Spider-Man No Way Home. I told you fantastic tier is going to be filled. Spider-Man No Way Home's going in that fantastic tier. We cut out the bad tier. This is how we're going to have to play with it. But Spider-Man No Way Home was one of those movies I'll never forget seeing. I looked at my wife and I said, we're going to see Spider-Man No Way Home. We went to go see it, and the theater was the most epic and electric it ever has been. I've never been in a louder theater, and I watched this movie 3 times in theaters, and yes, that first hour is a little bit all over the place, kind of directionless, but once Toby and Andrew show up, that's when the movie starts, and that's why it is in the fantastic tier. Now we're heading into the Star Wars section of this tier list. We have Star Wars Episode 1, A Phantom Menace. I'm gonna put in the good tier. I enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. This is my nostalgia movie. I grew up all the time watching this. I just wanted to be little Anakin until I found out he's actually Darth Vader, which is not cool at all. Then we have Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'm sorry, I'm putting that in the good tier as well. I thought The Last Jedi had a lot to offer. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. A lot of people hate this one. That's totally fine. That's totally understandable. But for me, I had a good time when I watched it. Anytime I go back to rewatch it, I always go, that's a fun movie. But we have Star Wars Force Awakens, which is not just a good movie, but it's a great movie. Star Wars Force Awakens was a huge surprise when I went to go see it. I was so nervous going to see it. It was one of my most anticipated movies probably ever, because I love Revenge of the Sith so much. So coming into this one, it's the first Star Wars movie I ever saw on the big screen, which was pretty epic for me. And Killing Han Solo, ballsy move, Star Wars, but nonetheless, it's a good movie. Kylo Ren is a freaking menacing villain, at least in his first one. When he took his helmet off, just, eh. Then we have another hot take, because we have Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Good tier. I always put it in last in my rankings, because I don't want people just to freaking yell at me all the time, but I want to go back and rewatch this one, because I still enjoy it. I still have fond memories watching it. Yes, it was weird bringing Palpatine back somehow. Palpatine's back. So yes, that was a little bit weird. I 100% understand you there, but nonetheless, I still had a good time with this one. Definitely a hot take. Some people absolutely hate this movie, and that's totally fine. Then we have The Dark Knight Rises. No one cared why it was, so I put on the mask. That was absolutely terrible, but perhaps I'd rather shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. Fantastic. The Dark Knight Rises is arguably up there with The Dark Knight for me. It's one of my favorite Nolan movies. Bane, Tom Hardy's Bane is so freaking menacing. The Batman comes out of retirement and gets his ass kicked, gets sent down in the prison. He has to climb out with no rope. It's epic. It's awesome. It's so freaking cool. Then, you got my permission to die. Oh, it's so epic. Speaking of epic, The Dark Knight, one of DC's best movies, if not its best, one of the greatest comic book movies of all time, my favorite Christopher Nolan movie of all time, going in that fantastic tier. I remember watching this in theaters. I was pretty young. I was about 8 or 9 years old, and seeing Joker on screen, I was terrified. I was hiding behind my mom, just didn't know what to do, man. When he performed that magic trick and made the pencil disappear, you just really set the tone for this movie. It's one I will never forget experiencing and watching. Then we have Fast 8, F8, The Fate of the Furious. I'm a diehard fan of this franchise, and this is one of my favorite ones. They're driving a Lamborghini on ice, getting chased by a submarine. Is that absurd? Yes, but is that the most absurd thing they've done in this franchise? Absolutely not. It's just a fun movie. You got the rock-backed Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto goes rogue. That prison fight scene between Jason Statham and The Rock sets up Hobbs and Shaw for their chemistry so well. And Vin Diesel, Dom Toretto, like, he's the man. He's the muscle. He's everything about this group. He's what holds the family together. And he goes rogue, and nobody can stop him. And they do a great job at that. Then, we have The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, which is just a great movie. I love the Middle-earth franchise so much, and the first Hobbit's one of those movies that when I saw in theaters, I was like, that was pretty good. But the more and more I rewatched it, the more and more I just fell in love with these characters, this movie, and the way they told the story. I read the book in middle school, and I just had a lot of fun with it. Then we have the live-action Lion King, which I'm going to put in the good tier. We lost the Mevro now. There's so many movies on this tier list, but The Lion King is one of those movies as well that is, yes, 100% a cash grab. Why would you remake the greatest animated movie of all time? No one really knows. No one really knows at all. But since it is like a beat-for-beat, shot-for-shot remake, I still enjoy it. I still have fun. I remember when I saw this for the first time in 2019, I said, that's my favorite movie of the year so far. And then it went down for sure, but nonetheless, still enjoyed it quite a bit. Then we have Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, one of my top five favorite movies of all time, top 3. Haven't gone back to rewatch it in years, but this is one I need to go back and check out, because every time I watch it, I absolutely love it. I adore it. My friends, you bow to no one. Ooh, hit you right in the feels. And we have the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I'm going to put in the good tier. Had a lot of fun with this one. It dang near could go in the great tier. Should we do it? We might. We're going to put it in the great tier right there on the spot. One of my favorite anime movies of the year so far. I love the Mario universe so much. I'm so glad this did so well, because we're going to get a sequel. It's guaranteed now. It works. The world, the lore, and pages works. It works on every freaking level. I don't even care. And we have Titanic going in that fantastic tier. The fact that James Cameron has $2 billion movies on this list is absolutely absurd, but Titanic's my favorite romantic movie of all time, and I go back and rewatch one all the time, and I absolutely love it every time I do. I had the opportunity to see this in theaters with my wife, and I didn't, and I'm regretting it. I'm really kicking myself for it. Toy Story 3, top tier Pixar, top 2 Pixar for me. Fantastic. So long, partner. This one just hits you right in the feels. You grew up with Andy by the time, like, you're going off to college now, you're going up to be an adult. What are you going to do with your toys? Are you going to get rid of them? Are you going to keep them? You have that sentimental value with them. They've been with you your entire life. They literally watch you grow up. They hit on all those so well. And when they're all going to, like, die at the end and go down the lava, they all hold hands, like, together. I got chills just thinking about it. That's crazy. And we have Toy Story 4. Great movie. I love these characters. I love Ducky and Bunny. I love the way they just expand this universe. Is it a cash grab? This is one of the biggest cash grabs on this list. But guess what? Who's excited for Toy Story 5? This guy. Transformers. Age of Extinction. I'm glad we can't even see the tier, but it's going in bad. Just bad. Then we have Transformers Dark of the Moon. Good. I love this one. I love the first trilogy of the Transformers movies, and I really enjoyed the Transformers that came out this year, Rise of the Beast. Love this franchise. I love these characters. They have the same villains every time, where there's a Decepticon spiraling in a building, and they crush it in half. That was pretty freaking cool to see when you're a little kid going to theaters. Zootopia. Fantastic movie. This is arguably my brother's favorite movie of all time. So every time I go back and rewatch this one, I just have fun. We're getting to Zootopia 2. I want to see Zootopia Land. I think they made it in one of the Disney parks. It would be awesome. Officer Hops is great. The Sloth. Flash. Avengers. The first Avengers. Fantastic. Top 5 MCU for me. The first Avengers was basically the first movie that really got me into all the Marvel movies. I remember seeing this 3 times in theaters. The first movie I saw 3 times in theaters, and I couldn't get enough of Bruce Banner's Hulk. He was my favorite character for this one. I wanted to be the Hulk so much. He's my favorite version of the Hulk. The Battle of New York is epic. Loki's a fantastic villain, bringing all these different egos and characters all together. It set up what is now the MCU. It's everything and more you could have wanted. It's epic. It's grand. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. Then we have Top Gun Maverick. Believe it or not, folks, this is my favorite movie of all time. So it's going in where? It won't move there, but it needs, there it is, the top of the fantastic tier. My favorite movie of all time. I've seen it like 10 plus times. It's a comfort movie for me. Anytime I want to watch a movie that I don't know what to watch, I'll turn on Top Gun Maverick. I'll have a great time. I'll smile, I'll laugh, I'll quote it, and I will just be head over heels in love with it like I am, because I absolutely love Top Gun Maverick. And finally, the 53rd movie on this list. I feel like I've been talking for hours, but the 53rd movie on this list is Incredibles 2. Which we're going to put in the great tier. Getting to Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible to switch roles, and now that he's staying at home, she's out there being a superhero. That works to its advantage. Jack fighting a raccoon's hilarious. All his other supers are great. Was it the sequel we all wanted to wait 20 years for? No, but was it absolutely great? It was. I really enjoyed it. And that's going to do it for our ranking of all $53 billion movies. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, you are an absolute rock star. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Let me know your ranking of all 53 movies down below in the comment section. Man, that was a lot of talking in such a little bit of time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.